Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Soul Shift Messages. If you found your way here, trust there's something in this message for you. Understand this space is about growth, truth, and transformation. We don't bypass here, we don't sugarcoat, and not every message will feel comfortable, but it will be honest. I speak in flow, and sometimes that includes cussing. It's just part of how the messages come through. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own discernment above all else. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. If you are new here, please know at this time I create weekly content in 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on what needs to be revealed. Part 2 focuses on what needs to be understood. And Part 3 focuses on what needs to be done. What action do we need to take in order to embody what we're discussing for that week? So, depending on when you find this video, you will either find links to all the related content below, or you'll see when to expect it. So, if it's not there yet, just know it's coming, and I'm really good about going back and just updating links as I create new content throughout the week. So I say all of that to say this is part 2 of this week's content, and we are focusing on trust. So what needs to be understood about trust? And I am calling this message, Can You Trust Yourself to Meet Reality as It Is? Let's go ahead and dive right in. Most people misunderstand what trust actually is. They think trust means believing someone will never hurt them, feeling completely safe, being certain about another person's intentions, eliminating risks, finding guarantees, and knowing exactly what will happen. But trust is none of these things. Trust is not certainty, control, blind faith, the absence of risk, and not believing that pain will never occur. Trust is the ability to remain open, aware, grounded, and engaged even when uncertainty exists. Trust does not remove uncertainty. Trust changes your relationship with uncertainty. This distinction is crucial because uncertainty is not a temporary problem that can eventually be solved. Uncertainty is part of reality itself. Say it again. Uncertainty is part of reality itself. The deeper subject, your relationship with reality. This message is not really about trusting people. It's about trusting reality. Reality is complex, imperfect, partly hidden, unpredictable, constantly changing, and beyond complete control. Many forms of suffering emerge because we expect reality to be different than it actually is. We want certainty. Reality offers probability. We want guarantees. Reality offers possibilities. We want complete understanding. Reality offers partial understanding. We want permanence. Reality offers change. The message repeatedly points toward a profound realization. The goal is not to make reality more certain. The goal is to become more capable of living within uncertainty. Trust develops when we stop fighting reality and begin learning how to navigate it. And I'm hearing that's going to be the ultimate goal of this series by the end of part 3. That's what we're laying out. How to stop fighting reality and begin learning how to navigate it. Thank you. Trust begins with self-trust. Because uncertainty cannot be eliminated, trust must eventually move inward. It needs to stop being externalized. We need to bring it within. Self-trust. Trust starts with us. It lives within us. We embody it, and that allows it to reflect externally. Okay. The foundation of trust is not another person. The foundation is your relationship with yourself. Some of you may resonate with the phrase as within, so without. I'm hearing that, so that's significant for someone. The essential question becomes, do I trust my ability to meet reality? Not, can I guarantee reality will unfold according to my preferences? Self-trust means trusting your ability to observe clearly, learn from experience, adapt to change, recover from disappointment, correct mistakes, recognize problems, make difficult decisions, and handle uncertainty. Many people seek certainty because they do not yet. They want me to emphasize yet, because they do not yet fully trust their ability to navigate uncertainty. As self-trust grows, the need for guarantees naturally decreases. And I'm hearing that's the goal. That's the end goal of all of this. The journey from innocence to wisdom. Most people begin by looking for certainty outside themselves. They seek it through authority, relationships, belief systems, experts, social structures, and rules. At first, this feels safe. And they want me to emphasize, if you resonate with that, this isn't about shame. This isn't about blame. This is about recognizing what is going on in our experience and really being able to make informed decisions based on that recognition, right? Do we want to keep doing that? Does that align with our greatest and highest good? You know, this is really about staying curious. There's a big push in these messages lately to move from judgment into almost this state of curiosity. It's interesting because it's almost like get scientific with it, right? Like, don't be harsh, don't critique, get curious. Where does this come from? Why do I do this? You know, do I still want to actually be doing this? So that's going to continue to be a significant theme. I feel that very strongly. All right. So at first, this feels safe. Then reality begins to challenge those assumptions. Conflict appears. Contradiction appear. Disappointment appears. Hidden motives appear. And complexity appears. The illusion of certainty begins to break down. Why? Because certainty is rigid. And I'm hearing clinging to rigidity in a nuanced and inherently flexible world is going to be challenging moving forward. They want you to make your own decisions, but they also want you to be aware. Flexibility. I'm also hearing fluidity. Take that how that resonates. Is going to be more beneficial moving forward. I'm just hearing change is inevitable. Change is coming. Why? Because change is inevitable. Flexibility, fluidity will serve you better. And I'm hearing that is your guidance. But also remember too, you have free will. All right? Use your discernment. So this often leads to confusion, pain, grief, or disillusionment. At this point, a person faces a choice. They can become fearful. They can become cynical. They can withdraw, or they can become wiser. Again, free will. Wisdom emerges when a person accepts that certainty is limited, but remains willing to engage with life anyway. Say it again. Wisdom emerges when a person accepts that certainty is limited, but remains willing to engage with life anyway. The difference between reality and fantasy. Many trust problems are not caused by reality itself. They are caused by mistaken assumptions about reality. This message repeatedly challenges common fantasies. The fantasy that authority guarantees wisdom. Confidence guarantees competence. Closeness guarantees trust. Intelligence guarantees honesty. Trust guarantees loyalty. Caution guarantees safety. Cynicism guarantees protection. Control guarantees security. And avoiding vulnerability prevents pain. One by one, these illusions are dismantled. What remains is reality. Not idealized reality, actual reality. I'm hearing shatter the illusions. Some of you may also resonate with the phrase shatter the mirrors. It's okay if you don't follow that one. That's significant for someone. A world where people are complex. Motives are mixed. Uncertainty is unavoidable and risk cannot be eliminated. That is actual reality. And again, I'm hearing you can take it. You can leave it. I'm even hearing you can think on it. Someone says chew on it. You can chew on it. Yeah, you can. All right. The purpose is not comfort. The purpose is clarity. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is for someone. Someone needs to understand that the discomfort you're feeling is trying to bring you toward clarity. I'm just hearing clarity and comfort often do not go hand in hand. It doesn't mean they can't coexist. You know what this feels like to me? This feels like someone is trying to stay comfortable, but is sitting in confusion. And I'm hearing you're not going to find the clarity that you're looking for, staying in that comfort. Some of you may feel like you need to take some space right now. You could find clarity in that. Some of you may find clarity being in nature. For some of you, I'm hearing you just need to do something different. I'm just hearing you're a little too comfortable. Do you really find growth when you're in comfort? And it's not to say you should always be taking yourself out of comfort, right? Things are an ebb and a flow, right? But some of you may need to do, and again, these don't need to be big things, but some of you do need to make some small changes just to shake things up and get yourself out of that very comfortable spot. Some of you, I'm hearing complacent. Some of you may feel like you've gotten complacent. There, again, I'm just hearing you don't have to do something big. You can do smaller things to kind of shake things up. And again, it's like be progressive with that. And what do I mean by that is start with something small, see how that impacts you. Do you get more clarity? For some of you, I'm hearing, do you feel more grounded? So that may be significant, and if so, give yourself some time to be there, see what happens. And then again, instead of progressive, some of you may resonate with incremental, right? Like once you feel good with that change, make another smaller change. They really want you to get out of the binary thinking of like all or nothing. They're like that, like, no, I'm hearing no one is asking you to do that. That's funny. Some of you could be Theory of a Dead Man fans. They have a song called All or Nothing, and I'm hearing that in my head. It's a great song. It really is. But again, they're just saying like no one's actually asking you to do that. So if you feel like you need to change things up, your guidance is start small and build. See what happens. Because again, if you move in small movements, if something is not working, they're like it's very easy to take that step back and try something else and see how that works. I don't know why we went down that, but I'm gonna trust what came through. Someone needed to hear that. All right, let's get back into this. Learning to see clearly. Many trust problems occur because people trust appearances rather than reality. And I'm hearing, I feel like I just triggered someone with that. And your guidance is to, like, if that bothered you, I don't know why. It's like if you felt that in your chest, in your heart space, and that irked you, or kind of made you like wince. I don't know. I feel like someone didn't receive that well. And your guidance, if you feel that, they want you to look at what about that statement bothered you. So I'll give you a warning. They want me to say it again. But yeah, they want you to look at where that's coming from. So many trust problems occur because people trust appearances rather than reality. All right. There's something meaningful there for you if that hit you. I'm hearing ego, so that may be your ego responding to that. They want you to look at that. Take that if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. All right. They trust titles, status, confidence, charisma, familiarity, emotional intensity, and shared beliefs. But appearance and reality are not always the same. A recurring question emerges. Am I responding to what is actually here? Or am I responding to the story I have created about what is here? This is tying back to that idealization type of aspect, that kind of pedestal thinking, putting people on a pedestal. I talked about that in part 1. That is coming up here. This question lies at the heart of discernment. This message repeatedly favors observation over assumption, not optimism, not pessimism. Observation. We're moving our way out of these extremes and swinging between the two. All right? Our goal is to take them to neutral so that we can look at them clearly. And then again, make informed decisions based on what we see. The problem of projection. One reason people struggle to see clearly is projection. People project their hopes, fears, expectations, and unresolved experiences onto others. Some people project goodness. They assume this person would never hurt me. Again, they want me to remind you there is no such thing as a perfect person. Nothing is perfect here. This world is built on polarity. All right, this or that, us versus them. Again, these extremes. So they're saying nothing is perfect. That's why they really want us to get out of this binary thinking, get to a healthier place within ourselves so that we can better navigate, co-create our experience. All right, so some people project goodness, others project danger. They assume everyone eventually hurts me. Both positions distort reality. Both replace observation with imagination. Healthy trust requires seeing people as they are, rather than as our fears or desires imagine them to be. People are complex. People are neither purely good nor purely bad. We are capable of love and selfishness, loyalty and inconsistency, courage and fear, and wisdom and blindness, sometimes all at once. Many trust problems emerge when people are forced into simple categories: hero, villain, savior, enemy, perfect, worthless. Again, those extremes, those binaries, all right? Again, for some of you, you recognize them as poles. Again, take it how it resonates. All right? Reality is more complicated. And I'm hearing you already know that. Trust becomes healthier when people are allowed to be fully human. Again, there are no perfect people. Not everything can be known. Part of seeing people clearly means accepting their complexity. Every person contains hidden dimensions, hidden motives, fears, desires, wounds, and contradictions. Complete understanding is impossible. Babies, I don't even fully understand myself. I really don't. What am I going to do next? What's coming out of this mouth next? I'm never 100% sure. All right? Complete understanding is impossible. This does not mean people are inherently deceptive. They want me to emphasize that. It does not mean people are inherently deceptive. I'm hearing we're all still learning about ourselves. We're all still trying to navigate this experience the best we can with what we have. All right. So they're not inherently deceptive. It means people are complex. I'm just hearing everyone has had different experiences. Everyone is at different levels in their journey. Some people are trying to heal their wounds. Some people don't even recognize they have them. Some people have them and have no idea what to do about them. All right. Again, there is that push from moving from judgment to understanding. All right. Trust, therefore, becomes an ongoing process of discovery rather than a final conclusion. You are never trusting because you know everything. You are trusting despite not knowing everything. Trust, boundaries, and relationships. Many people mistakenly equate trust with closeness. They assume intimacy automatically creates trust. It does not. All right? A relationship can be deeply emotional, long-term, exclusive, and committed, and still lack trust. Trust develops through honesty, transparency, consistency, accountability, and reliability. Likewise, trust does not require the removal of boundaries. Healthy trust does not mean blind obedience, self-abandonment, constant agreement, or emotional fusion. For some of you, emotional fusion, some of you may recognize that as energetic entanglement. Yeah. If you are emotionally fused with someone, you are also energetically fused, energetically entangled, enmeshment. Frankly speaking, I think it just kind of shows the complexity of this world. They talk about very similar things, but that's like what, 3, 4 different ways to describe pretty much the same thing. So, all right. Healthy trust and healthy boundaries strengthen one another. Trust says, I can remain open without abandoning myself. Trust is revealed through challenge. Trust is not proven during comfort. Trust becomes visible during difficulty, conflict, disagreement, questions, differences, boundaries, pressure, and transparency. And I'm hearing, I know I said it in the first one, but they want me to reiterate, you do not have to create these conditions. They don't want you to force things. I don't know if someone has a tendency to like test people to see how they're going to react. Babies, they want you to let that go. if you do that. They're just saying that's not actually healthy. Again, it's this emphasis of be in the present moment, right? If things are good and things are fine and things are working, like I'm just hearing enjoy that. Let it be good. You don't have to force these things. Reality, life itself is inevitably going to introduce these things into your experience, right? And this doesn't mean don't talk about values, don't talk about boundaries, right? Those are very necessary things in relationships. I'm not saying neglect those in any way. Again, use your discernment, but I'm just hearing you like you don't have to shake shit up for some of this stuff to reveal itself. Okay? I'm hearing life is gonna life no matter what. So, all right. But if honesty disappears whenever tension appears, trust was never as strong as it seemed. Trust grows when truth remains possible during discomfort. And again, they're saying discomfort is inevitable in this experience. So again, you don't need to push for it. You don't need to rush it. It will eventually show up. Vulnerability, uncertainty, and control. Eventually, all discussions of trust return to uncertainty. Most people want certainty before they trust, but certainty never fully arrives. No relationship, no opportunity, no future offers guarantees. Trust becomes necessary precisely because certainty is unavailable. This leads to one of the deepest insights in the entire message. The true opposite of trust may not be distrust. Ooh. There might have been something in there for me. Oh, I was watering. All right. So, yes, the true opposite of trust may not be distrust. The true opposite may be control. Many struggles with trust are actually struggles with uncertainty. People seek perfect knowledge, guaranteed outcomes, total transparency, and absolute certainty. But trust only becomes necessary where control ends. If certainty existed, trust would be unnecessary. Trust is the ability to function effectively where control is impossible. Vulnerability is not helplessness. This understanding leads to an important distinction. Vulnerability means I cannot control every outcome. Helplessness means I cannot respond to outcomes. Trust requires vulnerability. I just heard point blank, period. It does not require helplessness. Mature trust says, I may not control what happens, but I trust my ability to respond to what happens. This is one of the highest forms of self-trust. The wounds that distort trust. When people are hurt, disappointed, betrayed, manipulated, or abandoned, trust often becomes distorted. Fear, hypervigilance, and protective beliefs develop. Over time, people may become so focused on potential danger that they begin seeing danger everywhere. The mind becomes trained to notice threats more easily than trustworthiness. The original wound may have been real, but eventually the wound begins shaping perception itself. The greatest threat is often not the betrayal, it's what remains afterward. Unprocessed pain, unhealed grief, protective narratives, and rigid conclusions. The event ends. Its psychological events continue. Fear and cynicism, two sides of the same defense. Two common responses emerge after disappointment. Fear says, I cannot trust because I am afraid. Cynicism says, I cannot trust because trust is foolish. Although they appear different, they produce the same outcome: withdrawal, isolation, disconnection, and refusal to engage. Cynicism often feels intelligent because it protects against disappointment, but it also blocks connection. Neither fear nor cynicism represents wisdom. Both are attempts to avoid vulnerability. Grieving the loss of illusions. Beneath many of these struggles lies grief. Growth requires grieving lost certainty, innocence, idealization, fantasies, and lost control. And again, babies, they're just saying, like, these are all illusions. These were things that never truly existed in the first place. They're also saying, but it doesn't mean that those things didn't feel real. And that's why they want you to take the time to grieve and not judge yourself. Many people resist this process. They continue searching for the certainty they once imagined existed. They want me to emphasize imagined, not reality. Mature trust emerges only after these losses are accepted. And I'm hearing fully processed. Bypassing this will not get you to where you want to go. When reality is no longer expected to match fantasy, a new relationship with life becomes possible. Discernment, the core skill behind trust. This message is not actually teaching trust. It is teaching discernment. Everything points toward discernment. Observing carefully, questioning assumptions, recognizing projection. I'm hearing within yourself and with others, because people absolutely can, will, and do project on you. Recognizing fear, recognizing cynicism, maintaining boundaries, accepting uncertainty, and staying connected to reality. Trust is not presented as a feeling. Trust is presented as the natural result of mature discernment. When discernment is weak, trust becomes naive. When discernment becomes distorted, trust becomes impossible. When discernment matures, trust becomes balanced. That is what we're walking toward. That is what we're aiming for with this series. The integration of opposites. Again, this is that binary, the extremes that I was talking about earlier. Growth is never achieved through extremes. And I just heard that's not up for debate. Say it again. Growth is never achieved through extremes. Instead, growth occurs through integration. This message repeatedly joins opposites together: strength and vulnerability, openness and boundaries, hope and realism, connection and independence, trust and discernment, and wisdom and uncertainty. The solution is rarely found at either extreme. Naivety is not healed by cynicism. Dependence is not healed by isolation, and blind trust is not healed by total distrust. Maturity comes from holding both sides simultaneously. That's that integration. That's that balancing it out. That's where we are expanding to hold complexity without collapsing. All right. What trust ultimately makes possible. Trust is not only about protection. Trust is also about creation. Fear protects. Trust creates. Trust makes relationships, cooperation, growth, exploration, innovation, shared goals, and meaningful connection possible. A life organized entirely around protection becomes smaller and smaller. Trust allows life to expand. It allows participation in experiences that fear alone would never permit. The final transformation. At first, the question is, who can I trust? Eventually, it becomes, how do I know what is trustworthy? Then, how do I function when certainty is unavailable? And finally, can I trust myself to meet reality as it is? That final question changes everything. Because once self-trust develops, the need for guarantees begins to dissolve. You no longer require perfect people, complete certainty, or total control. You become capable of entering relationships, opportunities, commitments, and unknown situations with open eyes. Not because risk has disappeared, not because betrayal is impossible, not because uncertainty has been solved, but because your stability no longer depends on those things. The final takeaway. Trust is not a way of making uncertainty disappear. Trust is the ability to remain open, discerning, adaptable, connected, and fully alive in the presence of uncertainty. The goal is not to eliminate risk, find perfect people, guarantee safety, and not to control reality. The goal is to become the kind of person who can meet reality as it is without needing reality to become something else. At its highest expression, trust becomes a stable relationship with uncertainty itself. It becomes confidence that regardless of what life brings, clarity or confusion, loyalty or disappointment, success or loss, you can remain present, grounded, discerning, resilient, connected to yourself, and connected to life. That's all I have, babies, and they told me to end it there. So I will be back later this week with part 3, and that will close out the series on trust. I'll make a post tomorrow to announce what next week's topic is going to be. So tune in for part 3 if it resonates. If it doesn't, that's okay. Just know part 3 will be available if you decide you want to take it to that level. Trust your pace, honor your pace. All right? Take care of yourselves, beautiful beings. Until next time, bye.